too, if you want to text. If you're watching live at alancoxshow.com, thanks. Who's helping out today? Dip. I got to be careful. Dip Fluckley. Hey, thank you, Dip. I appreciate it. Is that short for something? Is it Dipthard or anything like that? Or we don't know?
That's where you Dipthard.
Well, these are all strange names, so I have to assume that the full names are equally as strange. Dip Fluckley. Thank you so much. Doesn't really matter what the name is it? We don't bring them on for their names.
Yeah, right.
Come on,
that'd be ridiculous.
That'd be silly. I'm into sports for the names, though, and you might recall a guy last time the New York Jets. You know, everybody's talking about the Jets now because of Aaron Rodgers. But they used to have a guy named DeBrickashaw on their team. DeBrickashaw Ferguson. Last time the Jets were good, about a decade back, they had a legit team. It was Rex Ryan was a coach. And
the contrast between DeBrickashaw and Ferguson makes it that much better. Because if you had it was DeBrickashaw and then some crazy last name.
I was going to say, what goes with DeBrickashaw?
But Ferguson's such a regular name makes it so much funnier to be like, I'm DeBrickashaw Ferguson.
What about DeBrickashaw DeFerguson? What if that was the name?
I love that.
But he has since retired, and I was watching a little blurb on him, and he has decided to become a nurse. And so you hear a lot about what athletes do after they retire. And back in the day, you know, these guys would kind of fade off into obscurity, or they'd pop up every so often in some kind of a nostalgia trip for the team. But he's a young man. I think he was early 30s when he retired. So he's going to become a nurse. And I think that's interesting because then you'll have Nurse DeBrickashaw.
Mm-hmm.
You can't.
Who was your nurse again? I can't remember. It was either Craig or DeBrickashaw. I can't remember.
Yeah. Jenny or God, what was his name?
Or the 6'4", 250-pound muscular black
former
guy.
lineman from the New York Jets, DeBrickashaw. But to hear him talk about it was very enlightening. It's like, I don't know if I can do this, you know, because he went to UVA and he said, yeah, college had been kind of tough for him. So Nurse DeBrickashaw, you know, because you even in football, you don't really get the full impact of a great name because you only see the surname on the jersey, to Bill's point. And Ferguson, by most accounts, it's not an uncommon surname. You really want the DeBrickashaw. You want the first name. And he'll be, unless he goes by Nurse Ferguson. But how about DeBrickashaw Fokker? Sticking with the nurse vibe. How about that? That's pretty good. My daughter started swim team this morning. These poor kids, Jesus Christ. It was, so I'm talking to my wife over the weekend. I go, okay, so, because I have to take my daughter to swim. It's 7:30 every morning.
Every morning?
For the next 6 weeks, I think, or 8 weeks.
7 days a week?
No. Weekdays. Monday through Friday.
5 days a week every morning?
Through the end of July.
My.
And this isn't swim lessons.
Like learning how to
this
swim.
Is
No, swim team.
Swim team.
Yeah, meets
At like the rec center?
Well, this is my question. So I'm talking to Gwen over the weekend. I said, okay, because I'm going to be taking her and then I'll come to work. And I said, or actually taking and sitting and then going to work. But I said, what school is this, by the way? And she goes, my wife gets so exasperated with me because she will tell me things and I don't retain them. So I'm like, I always ask her, I said, don't get exasperated with me because you know this is who I am, okay? I do try to retain things, but I'm talking to a lot of people all the time. And I don't remember who says what. And I try to remember, but I don't always. So anyway, so she gives me her exasperated sigh. I go, what school is this? She goes, it's at the pool. And I said, it's at the pool? It's going to be 54. Now, not every day, but this morning, first day was 54 degrees. There were kids. My kid's a goer, man. She's like, if it's something she really wants to do, she's burning through it. She doesn't care. These other kids were like crying, you know, and I can't blame them. I'm there in a hoodie.
Yeah.
You know, these kids are getting to the pool. I go, that's why I thought it was in a school and not outside because it was 54 degrees at 7:30 this morning. And it ain't a heated pool, you know.
Wow.
It's the bay pool. So the pool gets heated up when it's 85 outside during the day.
And all the kids are peeing in it.
There you
That's
go.
how
Yeah.
That's how you heat a public pool.
That's right.
Our pool has the heater's been broken.
Your
so,
building's pool.
Yeah, haven't been able to use that even. Like we did. I've only been swimming one time, and I was like, it's usually not this cold in here. So, other than I'm waiting until I get the email that says it's all better.
Well, so yeah, most of the
Also, it
kids.
needs to be hotter than 60 degrees.
Most of the kids plowed through, boy, but I could not blame a couple of these kids. I saw them pulling the cord. They were like,
Yeah.
they're like
Shivering,
crying and
lips
shit.
are
Yeah,
blue.
getting in and out, and yeah, oh my God, I didn't envy any one of those kids.
When I was in
A hell of a day to have to start.
over the weekend in LA, it wasn't super warm. Like Saturday, the high was 73,
Yeah.
and then yesterday it was only like 66. The pool was super warm, probably an 80-degree pool. And I was out there
Well, you're
reading.
at the Ritz-Carlton?
Yeah, I was out there reading and snacking and stuff. And it was so funny because these little kids are on vacation and they were in the pool. And like their parents are sitting out in jeans and a hoodie, like shit, like because it's 66 degrees with a breeze. And these kids are splashing and not caring in the world. And I'm like, good for you, man. Enjoy your vacation. But I am one I firmly believe 75 and up is water weather. Like even 70, 72, I feel like once you get out, you're going to be cold.
Well, because you're an adult and you have options, right? You can go,
guess.
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go do X, Y, and Z. When we were in Sedona, we went in mid-April, right? So even in Arizona, it's not 85 degrees in April.
It's like 72,
if
73.
If you're lucky. So, but Nora wanted to swim. And so, we're like, whoops. we
Oh, no, you broke all the
Yeah,
stuff.
Oh, no.
You can hear it breaking.
Oh, come on. No. Oh, no. That was real glass that this is made of. Hmm.
Yeah, our equipment's all made of glass and pots and pans.
Yeah, the pool. One day we got in. She wanted to go in the morning before we really got up and going. I was like, okay, I'll take her down there. It was like 59 degrees.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, this is not, I think their pool might have been heated, but still, the air is still 59 degrees.
Yeah. Blake does not do
Kids don't
well.
care. Kids do not care. They're
Well-
like, yoink, get in there, whatever. But this morning was not a great day. It's cloudy. It wasn't even like 54 with sun, right?
No.
I mean, it's what little bit you could get under those conditions might help. But it was like the worst possible, no one's fault, but it's like the worst possible day to have to start swim team.
We, Brian's daughter, and I think most kids, they think they know what they want, right? Oh, no, all I want right now is to swim. And we try to explain to her, you're going to be freezing cold. You need to understand there's consequences to this.
But they've
Go
also
swimming
been
if you
in
want.
pools before, so I don't
Right.
know,
But it's also, it's like, I mean, I guess it's different. Hers is a team thing. But
Yeah.
like when you're on vacation, I'm like, I'm not getting in the pool because
Right.
it is very cold.
Right.
You can do this, but I don't want to hear it. When you're freezing cold, I want you to remember you made this decision. And Brian sometimes will be like, Mary, she's not 15. You can't talk to her.
Well,
like
also,
that.
I got in with, when we were in Sedona, I would get in with her because I was like, I don't want to get in here. But then I'm like, don't be a pussy. Like, get in with your kid. But, because it's in the morning. Like, people are still having breakfast or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm not going to have my... I wasn't going to sit there and watch her swimming around by herself. So I'm like, yeah, I'll get in. And then you get in, and you get used to it.
It's not that bad when you're in there.
Yeah.
It's once you're out.
Yes.
And then you get back to your air-conditioned room. and
Yes,
you're
but
like,
that's life. What are you going to do? Sometimes you're in the water. Sometimes you're out of the water. Sometimes the air is cold.
When I was
What are you going to do?
When I was in Las Vegas, that was the only time I can remember in my life where it hurt to get out of the pool because we were on a rooftop pool in the middle of Las Vegas.
The wind's whipping around.
Like we were on a rooftop pool.
But even on a rooftop, it's like 102. The air, I mean.
Well, the
Isn't it?
air, but then I'm talking about like the cement. Like you
yeah.
had
because
to.
it's so hot.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
it didn't matter. Like I had my sandals by the pool because they told me they were like, okay, the cement's gonna be hot. So I had to get on the cement to get my feet in my sandals, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have steam. It was like I was road runner and having like steam and dust coming up from me when I was walking. I was like, I have never been this hot. Like stuff was like melting. It was so hot. And
Rooftop, you're closer to the sun.
yeah, but like when we were at the nude beach in Toronto, it was pretty cold. I was kind of embarrassed about how cold it was, but
That's a situation where you want it to be a little warmer.
yeah, it was a nude beach. It was the only nude beach I've ever gone to. So I'm like, I gotta go, but I was like, I don't really want to get into the water. I think I got up ankle high. I'm like, you know what, this is good enough. I don't need to shrink anymore. I'm good.
You don't want to get into cold water or be on a nude beach when it's cold.
we were laughing because a couple weekends ago we went to Edgewater for the first time, and I'm like, why are people in this wonderful Lake Erie water that we have provided? but I was like, it's just so cold and
gross.
We're walking along the beach, and I'm like, I don't even want to stick my feet in this. Ugh.
No. Take MRSA home with you. No
So
thanks.
stepping on cans and all
Yeah,
types of stuff.
Lake Erie whitefish. No thanks.
we live in Berea. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that
What?
before.
Berea,
You guys
Ohio?
familiar? Yeah, are you familiar with Berea?
You're a native Berean?
I am.
Wow.
Home of the grindstone. Anyway,
Isn't that
there's-
where Baldwin Wallace College is?
it sure is? Yes.
Also
And-
where comedian Bill Squire was born.
Look at all this. So many
That's
great things
crazy.
happening in Berea. We have a lake called Wallace Lake that, grew up swimming in it. It's just a lake. It's exactly what you think it's going to be. And Brian took Blake there fishing while I was out of town one weekend. And he was like, I can't believe people are swimming. I'm like, Brian, it's a lake. It's just, if you're going to swim in a lake, I feel like you have to accept it's not a pool. It's not going to be crystal clean.
It's
are
a
gonna be
natural
kids.
body of water, yeah.
There's fish in
Lakes
it.
aren't
There's
pools. Add it to the list.
Yes, add it to the list.
Add it
Lakes
to the
aren't
Mary
pools.
stuff.
Yeah, but he was like, I just can't believe that people let their kids swim. I'm like, I feel like it's just you swim in a lake. It might be a little gross. You're going to be fine.
That's how my wife grew up, and my father-in-law still has their primary residence is a huge house on a lake in Michigan. And so when they'll go there in the summertime, and we're in the lake, but I'll tell you what, every year there's more and more stories. And it's a private lake. It's not, whatever. But everything's connected to something else. And every year there's more and more stories about like, oh, there's a flesh-eating virus. It's finding its way into. I am less and less inclined to get into natural bodies of water than I have ever been in my life. But I also don't want to be like a stick in the mud because I know my wife and my kid are still going to be in there. And I'm standing there going, could you get out? I don't want to be that guy standing
Dude,
there.
that's Brian.
Hey,
Brian's
listen,
standing at the edge.
I don't want you guys getting the brain-eating bacteria. Could you get up? I'm like,
Hey.
at least don't submerge.
That's
Keep it up, nothing lower than your neck.
Me and Blake are doing flips and throwing sand at each other. He's like,
Because we're not crazy people. We sound like it, but give it 5 years or whenever nobody gets into a natural body of water.
he's more concerned, I think, where he's like, you have to get in my
I went
car after
swimming
this.
and then I got sick. I don't know what happened. Ugh.
There's nothing like lake smell. Like pond.
There are a lot of things like lake smell.
I'm just saying, like
Dead fish, garbage.
But if you swim in a pond, if you swim in a lake, any natural body of water, you smell
You stink,
like
yeah.
you stink.
I don't even like the chlorine smell after swimming in the pool.
I'm okay
Like,
with
I
chlorine.
gotta-
Chlorine makes you feel like you're clean.
No, your eyes are burning, and they have to pour so much in just to kill whatever
You
kids
guys
are bringing in there.
such like curmudgeons.
We're not curmudgeons.
You
I'm
are.
telling
You're
you,
not
gonna die.
I don't do
What do
this.
you
I
know how
do
many
this
people
stuff.
die all the time from stuff they get out of
You're
natural
not
bodies
gonna
of water?
die. You're not
Tell
gonna
those
die.
are the people who died.
That's such a small percentage of people. You're not going to die from swimming in a lake. You might be
I
itchy.
don't know what
you
will
might
happen.
get a yeast infection. But you're going to be fine.
Those are fine,
You're
yeah.
going to be fine.
You might get a male yeast infection. That's great. Cool.
drip, drip, drip. Take some antibiotics. You'll be fine.
No, thank you.
It's not
No,
that big of a
thank
deal.
you.
Enjoy your
Oh,
summer.
God,
Enjoy your
please.
summer. Jump in the
Stop.
lake.
Yeah, go ahead.
The water's all going to be gone in 5 years anyway.
Go ahead and do
Enjoy
it.
it now because there's not going to be any. Then what? When they're piping out all our
I'll
water to
enjoy-
Arizona.
I'll enjoy it from a distance. It'll be just fine. I'll stand there ankle deep
You're like a bubble boy.
and having a good time. No, no, no.
You're dipping your hands in a bucket that
Don't-
you sanitize and splash it. What a great
No.
summer. Look at this. I'm having
Do
fun
not,
in the water.
don't misquote me. Don't misunderstand me. I'm all for having a good time. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying you can't ignore there's a lot of, and increasingly so every year, a lot of nasty crap in natural bodies of water.
Yeah, but
nasty,
there's crap
nasty stuff.
everywhere. You're not going to be
That's
able to
not
ignore it.
an explanation. That's not an excuse.
I'm saying live your life. Have fun.
And I am living my life. I'm doing it ankle deep. That's how I live ankle deep. I like my swimming like I like. How do I do
He
this?
likes just wading into fun. He doesn't
That's
like,
right.
Captain Fun.
Yeah, not diving in.
Wade into fun.
Mhm.
That's right.
Yeah,
If I were running for public office, that would be my campaign slogan.
If I
Wade into fun. Yes?
have a tube, I'm cool. That's all.
A tube.
Like
You mean like a
floaty.
snorkel?
Like a floaty.
Like I could sit in a tube, like an inner tube,
Oh.
and then float on top of the nasty water.
I'm by the way, we're not going in water that's got like film on
it's
it
a-
or
it's
anything
a
like that. It's just a lake.
Lake, yeah.
It is what it
there's-
is.
there's-
A little nasty.
Okay.
algae.
Nobody gets into a body of water that's covered in algae and film. Nobody does that. People get into bodies of water all the time that look awesome, and they come out with something awful. That's all I'm saying. Is it a high likelihood that that would happen to me? Probably not.
What if there was...
I'm just saying, increasingly that is the case. They go, oh, hey, flesh-eating virus.
What if there was a zip line?
What about a zip line?
A zip
Into
line
the
into the
pool
lake.
or the
Now
lake.
you going? Because that makes it way more fun.
No. No. What? No. No.
Rope swing?
Rope
Dude, I
swing.
love a rope swing.
Rope swings are great.
Brian and I went canoeing as like our second first date because we took a year off. I call it the off season. He doesn't think that's very funny. But we went canoeing and we spent all day on a river, and there's little stops along the way, and one of them was a rope swing. There was like 8 different people, 8 different canoes, and he looked at me. He's like, "You are not going to go on that rope swing." I was like, "You don't know me very well." Paddled
I am
right
from
over.
Berea, Ohio.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Doing flips off of it. People are cheering. It was great. I had a blast.
Huck Finn over here.
Yeah,
For
right.
sure.
Listen, I will tube the hell down a river all day long. Drinking and tubing.
Your
there's-
ass is in that water
Great.
in a tube.
Fine. My ass is the cleanest part of my body. It's fine.
Just
That's
saying.
okay.
Yeah, but what if a microbe gets up there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, whatever. Hey, let me break here. You want those KISS tickets? People have been hitting me up to see KISS. They added